Hey everyone, just thought I would throw out one of these controversial and divisive videos out into the wind because apparently my new favorite sports entertainment is children fighting. Perhaps the biggest debate in the Yu-Gi-Oh community today since level 2 Earth Insect bad is whether or not Tearlaments at almost full power is good or bad for Master Duel. Is Master Duel in a good spot or not? Is it a good format? Is it healthy? Is it great? Well, that question can be as almost divisive as gun control. And that's like asking Melfi's or Magical Musket players what their thoughts are on open carry hunting permits. Am I right, Rabbi? Is this still a Yu-Gi-Oh video? Yeah, give me a second. Okay, let me cook, okay? Real quick though, I would like to mention that we have two major tournaments running this weekend. There's the Konami Challenger Cup, that's tomorrow for current format Master Duel, and on Sunday, it's last card standing. I'll be streaming both of them on twitch.tv/Farfa. We're closing in on almost 1,500 banned cards, and things are looking pretty strong for Cloudian players this week. And finally, a big shout out to all of the new Patreons recently. Batguy66, Dr. Ram's Unbanned Harp Horror for fuck's sake, Dying Eyes, and Foolish Amphibians. Anyway, I thought I would give you a bit of a TLDR here, so if you want to take away anything from this video and click off in just a moment, then feel free, because let me cook. You made that joke twice. Do you like Tearlaments? Yes? Oh, well, then this is a great format, actually. Do you dislike Tearlaments? Oh, well, then I guess this format isn't so good after all. Wow, what an incredibly articulate and well-balanced discussion. This was a great video. Good job, Farfa. 10 out of 10. Like and comment, subscribe. Well, do you want the long version? Let's dive in. Tearlaments has changed me, for better or worse. After playing it, I have been corrupted by its power. It is by far one of the most versatile decks that dropped in Master Duel. I am genuinely enjoying it, whether against the mirror, third-rate decks, or floodgate decks. Alright, well, Arky here is having a blast at least. Good for him. This person is having a really subjectively fun, enjoyable time playing the game. Let's try and figure out why they're wrong. Tearlaments are the most stupidly designed cards I've ever encountered. Every card has a built-in foolish burial effect. It's ridiculous. I just lost after resolving evenly matched. The Tearlaments player only had a Rokalos. Rokalos negates and destroys the special summon of a monster and then sends a Tearlaments to the graveyard. These cards are so overloaded with effects, it's like they had a bunch of ideas for different archetypes and cards and just combined all of them together. Nowadays, I don't even feel like opening the game. Well, there you go. Two polar opposite, completely contradictory opinions about the exact same game and format. This is just like American politics. How do we really break this down? Well, let's look at the positives and find out why Tearlaments are enjoyed by the player base. Number one, it's very free-flowing. Every hand can play completely differently from the last. It isn't your typical combo deck where if you open starter or starter plus extender, then it makes end board 1, 2, or if you want to play around X card, then 3. There are regular interactions like Kit Kalos, Get Merly, Special, and Mill 8, but how you get there and where you go from there can be different almost every single duel. Number 2, it has a very good mirror match. Yeah, there can be blowouts like Dweller into no responses, or simply milling more shufflers than your opponent, but overall there's a lot of interactive points and plenty of room for outplay. And number 3, it has a good non-tier matchup. Sometimes when you play a meta deck, the worst feeling ever is when you lose after not being able to play a singular card because of some dumb floodgate. Tearlaments is extremely resilient to most floodgates because of cards like Perla Rhino, multiple different monster typings and attributes, as well as access to Drident, Zeus, and Baguska, all easily accessible in its arsenal. Convinced yet? Let's take a look at why Tearlaments bad. Grr. It is completely busted. You kind of don't really stand a chance against tier if you're playing non-tier. Even bad tier players can utterly destroy you because, well, every card floats, everything mills, and every card has at least like 3 effects. And number 2, because it's so busted, every matchup is a mirror match. If you queue into rated at anything in platinum or above, you're going to play against Tearlaments. There's no diversity at the top end, and even at the low end, every third match or so is still Tearlaments, even as low as silver. So even if you don't hate Tearlaments, you might just get overwhelmed or just bored by how everyone and their grandmother is trying to cosplay Kit Kalos. And number 3, it's expensive. I mean, you can kind of build budget tier to an extent. You don't need 3 Scream, and maybe you can get away with 2 Rhino Heart, but for the main and extra, it is a lot of ultra rares. The thing is though, as far as tier 0 metas go, hate it or love it, say what you want about it, it is one of the better tier 0 metas. This is better than Spiral, Zoo, and some people would even argue better than Necros and Dragon Ruler, and that's saying something. But that's a good thing, assuming that you don't mind tier 0, which I suppose is the entire crux of the problem. Is tier 0 okay? Is it fine for there to be one singular powerful dominant deck for an entire format? Well, I suppose that discussion could be a video in and of itself. And I think this kind of brings out a more different and unique problem because of Tearlament. It's fine to not like Tearlament. It's a perfectly valid, reasonable take that just sometimes you just don't vibe with a deck. But here's the problem. What do you do in Master Duel if you don't like Tearlament today? What does Konami expect you, the player, to do if you just don't enjoy Tearlament? There are no alternative formats, there's no draft mode, and there's no repeatable single-player PvE content. In TCG, there's lots to do. You can play Time Wizard, you can play an alternative format, you can draft. Kinda draft. Not really, but you could. In Master Duel, there is nothing to do outside of just current ranked format. Spectate mode? And this is sort of a problem that I would like addressed for both sides of the argument. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider becoming a patron of the channel. Subscribe and check out my alternative highlight channel for other funnies that I don't really put on the main channel, but are worth uploading on YouTube to an extent. Social media and etc. are in the description down below. And until next time, adios.